Good evening, everybody. It's your girl, Miss Eha, Journey with Trish, the podcast, coming live from Mobile, Alabama. As always, I am super duper excited to be in the building with Black excellence. You know, you got to be to sit at the table with me. Go ahead and give you our medical disclaimer real quick, and then I'm going to introduce everybody that we have here tonight. These beautiful Black women sitting here with me tonight. Neither myself, Patricia Reed, aka Miss Eha De Jimenez, Journey with Trish, Health Assist Out, or any other affiliates like myself, he has no filter, are here to give you any type of medical or psychiatric advice. If you're having any type of emergency of that nature, I'll defer you to your emergency room or call your primary or psychiatric provider. Okay, I'm not your provider tonight. How y'all doing?
Doing good. Feeling good.
Yeah, so our topic tonight is going to be, this is part 2 of filter or no filter. Please take this opportunity to like, comment, follow, and share so we can reach as many people as we can, male and female, tonight, because it's actually quite sensitive with our Black men as well. And so we want to make sure we can reach everybody. So do us that favor. Go ahead and introduce yourself and tell them who you are, ma'am.
Hello, my name is Erica Lanes, and I am considered a leadership lane driver. That is right. I work with different individuals and organizations who are interested in leadership development, and I'm also an author.
Okay. And the name of your book is?
The name of my book is My Selfie Needs No Filter.
All right. There's also a Facebook group, a website.
That's right. We have a Facebook group, My Selfie Needs No Filter, a website, myselfieneedsnofilter.com. We have apparel and books. Our books are sold in 6 different countries with all of the accompanying cities that go along with that. So you can purchase them at your favorite retail stores, Books A Million, Barnes & Nobles, Amazon, Walmart, things of that nature.
Okay, and we'll remind you guys of that a little bit later. We'll also have Erica after the show. Go back and drop those links in the comments section. Okay. Everybody should know we got Miss Shay in the building. That's my oldest daughter, Queen Shamaya Scott. What's up with the gang? And who do we have over here?
My name is Kennedy Thomas. I'm an 18-year-old makeup artist, and I'm also Miss Erica's assistant.
So excited to have you in the building so that we go ahead and take this cling off so that we can have somebody in here to give us the point of view of somebody from your age population. So thank you for joining us tonight. So again, our topic tonight is filter or no filter. I hope you can see us and hear us. Okay, we don't have our headphones and all that. DJ Tech is in Mexico, but when I tell you, girl power stepped in and we got it done tonight. So thank you for all your help.
Yes.
So I want to know a little bit about I keep wanting to say filter, no filter. Mm-hmm. My selfie needs no filter, and how you came up with that concept.
Yeah. So one of the things that really got my attention, and I believe it was Miss America 2019, the one who jumped to her death, who killed herself. Mm-hmm. Beautiful girl. Very well known, extremely smart and intelligent. And it was such a shock. It really shook everyone who loved and adored her. And it really got my attention, that thing specifically. But when we started looking a little bit more closely to her situation and then some of the other situations that were going on around not only the celebrity population, but just even on a local level, there's so many girls who suffer with self-esteem and self-confidence issues. And these are girls who are leaders in their schools, in their communities. They're beautiful. They carry themselves, the way that some of us probably wish that we did at their age, and just get a lot of respect. And these are the ones that are we're really struggling. And so I just felt like, as a community leader, as a previous school teacher, I taught 8th grade. In Escambia County. And I felt like we needed to do something. And so I came up with the idea in my think tank, which is my shower. I get my best ideas from my shower. I was in my shower and I was thinking about what it was that we can do. And that was how, I started coming up with the idea of a back to school conference for girls. And everything just started kind of falling into place. I was like, man, self-esteem. We keep hearing that was like a buzzword. Self-love, self-care. Everybody wants to practice self-care, right? So it just started to just evolve, and it grew into my selfie needs no filter, just being authentically you, despite what is going on around you, despite what society, identifies as the standard of beauty, understanding that your authenticity is what makes you unique, and understanding that your beauty is from the inside out.
And there you have it. Like, we really don't even have to continue with the podcast at this point. Let's get you, Erica, to switch us over so that we can see this week's episode, if you can figure it out.
Switch this over?
Because it's like still on last week's episode.
Okay.
Okay, so that is exactly what I wanted to talk about tonight, everybody. The fact that, and you kind of hate to call it a craze, or a fad, but self-love and, practicing self-care and all these things over the past few years, especially since the pandemic, there's been like an increase in self-love coaches and self-care coaches.
Yeah.
And sometimes, I just feel like some people just woke up and decided they needed something to do. And so they said, well, I'm serious.
Yeah.
But over the past few months, and actually in doing this, I have learned so much more about myself. And even I've changed, if you don't already know, I'm a nurse practitioner, a psychiatric nurse practitioner. And so I've even changed some of my practices in the way that I promote self-love and self-care, because you hit it on the nail. Self-love and self-care start with your self-esteem.
Yeah.
Your self-esteem is totally mental. Okay. It all comes from the inside. We say things like, I'll see people going and telling somebody that says, you know what, I just hate my hair. And so a lot of people have gotten on this bandwagon of saying, well, your hair is beautiful. You shouldn't hate your hair. You have to love everything about you. Right. And I found that, to me, and this is my opinion, I feel like we were forcing people to lie and not be comfortable enough to say, I don't like this.
Yeah.
Because none of us are perfect, right?
Right.
But we're perfect for us, right? And hopefully we'll have this friend group or, this relationship, and we'll be perfect for each other. But there's always going to be some flaws in everything, right?
Yes.
So I just want us to be more careful in making somebody think that they have to say that they like something.
About
So what I did, and I kind of wanted it to be, and I'm glad you guys are here, because I'm going to ask you the question. I asked myself, what do you actually like about you, and what do you not like? That's been going through my head over the past few days. So are you comfortable with telling us and being transparent about what do you like about Kennedy? You introduced yourself, right?
Yes, ma'am.
What do you like about Kennedy?
I like my confidence. I like the way that I think. I like that I'm mature, and I like that I'm comfortable enough with myself now that I feel like I'm okay to have insecurities, but I don't let those insecurities take over me and like take over the way I look at myself and take over the way how I feel about myself and how I feel about feeling about myself.
Yeah.
She's 18.
Yes.
Y'all, listen,
Yes.
We do not give this generation the credit that they deserve. And sometimes I feel like we push our generation. I don't know how old you are, but I'm almost 50. And I feel like sometimes our generation is pushing our insecurities on to the next generation. And like, I think it's making them insecure.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree too, because a lot of times in households, I feel like parents or elders or whoever say things that, you know how they say you may not remember what they said, but you remember how it made you feel, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so they say things jokingly. And then over time, those words never really leave your mind. And so then you start to feel those insecurities within yourself. You know what I mean? Like a parent jokingly like, you know, bring your ugly self here, you know? And it's like, it's a joke. And you actually think that your child is beautiful. But then that child is like, well, dang, am I ugly? You know?
Yeah.
And so when someone out in public says, you so ugly, it's like, well, I think I'm cute, but maybe, I don't know. So yes, I do feel like sometimes the older generation can, you know, be an impact in terms of the securities. And two, I want to bring this part up too. I feel like you said earlier, self-esteem really starts within yourself. It's all about how you feel. It starts with your mental. It's so amazing to me how we are so critical of ourselves that when someone gives us a compliment, we can't take it.
Yeah, we don't know how to take it.
Yes.
Mhm.
Like you can go to the gas station, like, oh my gosh, your nails are so cute. And what's the first thing she's going to say? I need to get them done. I need to refill, you know?
Like,
Draw
chip
people,
on my nail.
yeah.
Like this wasn't the color
Draw
that I
people's
really
attention to your
wanted.
flaws.
It's like you point out your insecurities or your flaws or your imperfections or whatever before they even have a chance to see them. And it's like, if I told you your nails are cute, I think they're cute, even though you may need a fill in or whatever the case may be.
And so you have, like I've said on here before, like, just say thank you.
Yes.
If somebody gives you a compliment, just say thank you.
Yeah.
So you to tell us what do you like about Shamaya?
What I like about Shamaya, I think so we're talking about physical, mentally, like
What do you like
whatever.
about Shamaya?
Okay. I feel like I'm a very compassionate person. I like the fact that I'm very caring, and when I put my mind on something or to get something done, I can definitely get it done. I like that I get along with people for the most part, you know. I like that I'm dark skinned, and I don't mean to make this a color thing, but I really love, because I feel like when it comes to, you know, racism and color and skin tone, there's always an imbalance sometimes, you know what I mean? So I like to be dark skinned. Okay. I can be cute. So
But they say the blacker the berry,
The sweeter the juice.
the darker the chocolate. Wait, I almost see that.
How about you, Erica? What do you like about you?
What do I like about me? One of the things that I really love is my ability to go from the, how they say, the boardroom to the court to the legacy areas. We don't say the community and the hoods anymore. The proper word now is legacy areas.
Okay.
Yeah. No, going into the legacy areas, me just being able to really open up and communicate with people from all different backgrounds, socioeconomic statuses. And I feel like I'm just a really down to earth person. I think that has to do with my Mississippi upbringing as well. And I love being able to connect with the younger generation. Now, I'm not one of those ones who think that I'm just going to stay young forever and that I'm just hip to everything that goes on. But some people consider me a teenage whisperer. And I have the privilege of being able to hear things firsthand from teenagers that their parents don't get an opportunity to hear. And so I feel that that's somewhat of a gift that I am able to connect with that generation, that population of people. But outside of that, you know, I definitely have a strong compassion towards some of everybody. And I love networking. I love, you know, learning new things. I love to read and write and stuff like that. So me being able to give back in those capacities, I think it's a great gift.
I definitely appreciate everything you said. Thank you. The only problem is my ADHD. I really want to speak on everything. I'm afraid I may not recall, so just forgive me.
That's okay.
But I was thinking to myself, okay, first thing, adaptation, right? So back to the legacy and going to that area. I used to think back in the day, girl, you know, when I was younger, I used to think that dialogue or dialect really indicated a person's intelligence. Like how a person speaks determines how intelligent they are. And I remember going to this job, and it's in healthcare. And I remember having a supervisor, and it's like she didn't speak the professional way, you know. But when I tell you she was the most intelligent, let's get to it, I'm about to save this patient's life. I'm like, okay, that just changed my whole perspective. So just kind of relating that to what you said, I think it's a talent. I think you told me that growing up, it's a talent to be able to adapt to different situations. It's amazing, you know. I can have a conversation with my supervisor and sound like I am the most professional person on earth, but sometimes when I go to parties, it's a little, you're not gonna get the same person,
Right.
So I appreciate that.
Yes. I mean, you have to know how to adapt.
You do,
you know, and
especially when it comes to teens.
Yes. And it's not that you're not being real.
My age.
And I think too, going back to the older generation versus the younger, I think
Older. Am I the older
Okay,
generation?
No, sis,
what,
no.
give me a word, Miss Erica. Give me a word.
The legacy areas?
Okay,
What word?
okay, so how are we gonna say older generation? We're gonna say
Season.
Okay. All right.
The season generation. Now let's get back to what I was gonna say. Okay, maybe it's coming season. Oh, okay, teenagers. So the season generation, especially with parents, I feel like a lot of times when you're talking to your teenagers, you say things like, "I've been there, done that." But when they come and tell you things, sometimes it can come off as judgmental and not so much as like, I'm here to help you and guide you, you know, because I've felt, and not necessarily from my mom, but just older people, seasoned people in general, like, dang, well, if you've been there before and done that before, then how come you don't understand why I'm, you know, making these decisions, you know? So
and you know, when we talk about things like self-confidence, right? So some people don't understand the difference between self-esteem and self-confidence. Okay, so self-esteem is how you feel about yourself, right? It has a lot to do with body imaging and things like that. Self-confidence is how you feel about your ability to do certain things, right? There are two distinctive differences. I have two teenage sons, right? I'm a boy mom, hashtag boy mom. They don't tell me everything. They don't feel comfortable with telling me some stuff.
Can you say that one more time? Because there is a population of people who really believe, and there may be a handful, but for the most part, children are not telling their parents everything.
True. It is so true. And, you know, I can write the book on self-esteem and all, you know, the 5 selfie pillars, and I can target or I can work with the young ladies. But then when I go home, I'm just mommy.
Different. And we've had,
I'm just mommy. And it's like, I can go out and I can save the world and I can encourage and empower and inspire. And then I come home and it's a totally different vibe. I've had sit down conversations with my kids, and, you know, I'm able, because I can put on my mommy hat and I can see, you know, I think that some of this may be, you know, some self-confidence issues going on with my son. So now I'm thumbing through the pages of my book, and I'm like, what chapter is it? It don't work.
Not work with their. Now, if I take the book and put a cover over it and sit down with them, they'll probably
sit down and listen. Now, a lot of the things they do, don't get me wrong, they do, but it does not have the same impact and the same power that it has when I'm able to work with, you know, the young ladies. Yeah.
And so you recognize if your children need to go and sit down with somebody else that they feel more comfortable.
Right. Yeah. And I'm open to that. I'm absolutely open to that. And I tell parents, you know, there may be some things that I talk to your daughter or, you know, whoever it is that I'm working with. There may be some things that I talk with her about that I may not share with you, you know, but then there may be some things, you know, after I talk to her, I let her know we may have to bring your parent, legal guardian, or caregiver in on this conversation. Like if she tells me that, you know, that she kissed the girl or something, I'm not going to run out and, you know, grab and call her parent or anything like that about that. That's something that we can probably, you know, talk about and discuss and, you know, things like that. But now she's talking about suicidal tendency, homicidal tendency, something like that. Now that absolutely calls for, you know, some other steps.
So I think that can I still say like as a community, or do I have to say as a legacy?
You can say as a community.
So as a community, I do think that we have poured, some parents have taken so much of their energy to tell their children that they're beautiful, to tell them that they're gorgeous, to tell them that they have a nice body, to tell them that you have beautiful hair, right? I think that we've done an excellent job there, most of them. But where we're failing is the self-esteem part of it. Because when you are telling somebody oh, you have beautiful hair, or you have great hips, or your teeth are perfect. See, and when I say, like, as far as me addressing my teens and changing the way I think, it's if you think about somebody who may eventually develop breast cancer, right? Well, if all they've heard all their life is I have beautiful hair, we got to stop waiting until somebody gets cancer and has to have chemo to start telling them that they're not their hair. We got to start having that conversation right away. And that comes, you got to educate them, and you got to encourage them, and you got to build their self-esteem. You got to build the inner.
Yes.
Because I'll tell you, and this is a conversation I have with myself today, I have never, ever had like the misfortune of feeling that I was not beautiful, that I was not pretty. My parents did an excellent job there. They did a horrible job with the self-esteem. I'm going to tell you something, being pretty never stopped nobody from mistreating me. It never stopped anybody from pulling a gun on me. It never stopped a man from wanting to fight me because I was pretty. They say prettiest girls a lot of times have the lowest self-esteem.
That is true.
We poured so much into them being pretty, but what are we doing to help them, self-consciously, and help their self-confidence and their self-esteem so that they truly do love themselves? Because when I asked you, now you did mention complexion, but when I asked each one of you, what do you like about you? I didn't hear one person say, oh, well, I love that I have thick hair, and I love the shape of my eyes. Most people don't, not at least if you have, great self-esteem. Now, I haven't always had the greatest self-esteem. I'll tell everybody that my journey started before I lost weight, right? And I try not to talk about that all the time, but when I literally had to learn how to love myself, period. I had to learn how to love me, and not the physical me, because anything could happen next week and I could gain back every pound. Am I going to just all of a sudden start not liking myself anymore? So you got to make sure that these kids are recognizing and loving who they are. And it's not about the physical appearance. Beauty, like you said, beauty, self-esteem, all of that it comes from the inside. Because it's not, if you don't have what you need consciously, it's not going to stop it's not going to make you say, you know what, I'm worth too much to stay in this relationship. You're not saying, oh, well, I'm too pretty to be in it. I would hope you're not. I'm too pretty to put up with this.
Like, what does that mean?
What does that mean? I'm too pretty to be. But how many times have we said it to our children? To people. You come on, you're a pretty girl.
Why would you for that?
You're too cute for that. Why are you saying that? You're too cute for that. That comes from here.
It does, and that so when we talk about my selfie needs no filter, we're not talking about the kind of selfies you take with an electronic device. And that's what I wanted everybody to see, to hear. We are talking about your internal selfies. So your self-esteem, self-confidence, self-respect, self-care, self-love. Those are the kinds of selfies that we address and that we talk about within this framework. Because again, these girls and the boys too, they need to understand that your beauty lies within. And one of the people that in my generation right now that made one of the biggest impacts with that was Alicia Keys. Alicia Keys, she took a stand for herself. She stopped wearing makeup. Remember when she did that? She went barefaced, right? It was such a big, bold, powerful move. And her message was clear. It was clear. You do not have to have on all this makeup. You don't have to adorn yourself. You don't have to do all these things to feel beautiful. Now, if you like wearing makeup, I like wearing makeup. Makeup is fun. It's fun. We're not saying that there's anything wrong with wearing makeup or using a filter. I love a good filter. Makeup and filters are not the enemy. becomes a problem when it starts to have a certain kind of impact on you, to the point where you feel that you can't even walk out your door.
This is so good. Y'all should be liking, comment, following, and sharing. It's so good. Sorry.
If you can't walk out your door without your lashes on, without your makeup on, because you think that that's what defines your beauty, that's where the conversations, and we need to take a deeper dive into really what's going on. Insert your 5 selfies. Okay. But what she did, she used her platform. Still talk about Alicia Keys. She used her platform. She was vulnerable. I think there's something to be said about vulnerability as well. When you are able to be vulnerable and transparent about some of the things that maybe you don't like about yourself, like you had mentioned before, I think that it makes connections with other people. It makes you more real. People open up more to you. And also, she let us know, individuals that are seen as leaders and influencers, that we should be using our platforms to deliver those kinds of messages. Again, shout out to the ones that like to use filters. We are not saying don't use the filter. But when you think that that famous word, or that popular word, flawless, is the reality, it's not. You're not going to be flawless. Everybody has something unique about them. Everybody has something. If you have crooked teeth, gap teeth, crossed eyes, whatever it is, those are the things that make you unique, and those are the things that you should eventually feel comfortable about having, because not everybody has that. That's unique for you, and learning how to embrace that. So as leaders, we got to be able to push those kind of narratives. There's something about diversity and us being able to embrace that uniqueness. Again, that creativeness that filters provide, that creativeness that makeup does, and all of that, nothing wrong with it. But when it starts to really shape your mentality about who you are, especially on the inside, that's where it becomes an issue and a concern for me. Insert my selfie needs no filter.
And we had this conversation last week about the fact that on TikTok, there's, I love the bold glamour filter on TikTok, but Shamaya having, she's out. My kids I have great children, and that they keep me, like they will check me, and so if they feel like I'm using the filter too much, they're like, okay, come on, Mom. Like you liked yourself last week before they even developed the filter. And so what I noticed was, one day I was sitting there and I was making this, getting ready to do a video. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute, something's wrong with my face. Like, this is not right. So like, what's, and I'm like, wait a minute, like, chick, what's wrong with you? Like, this is you. This is the real you. This is not the filter. And so now I will make sure that I have like this, I'm not gonna say I have a definitive number, but I know that, okay, you've used the filter too much. Like, you guys show the real you. And it's something that my children told me when I ever first got on TikTok. My treasurer would say, all right, Ma, nobody likes the ones who go on social media and look polished all the time. Show the real you too. And I think that's very, very important.
Yeah, because if, like, let's say you get invited to like some huge conference or something, and all you have are the filtered pictures, and you get there and they're gonna be like, who is that? Yeah, this the way. Oh, wait a minute, hold up.
You look totally different. So we and the topic was the use, misuse, and overuse of filters. These children, most of them, are not going to just stop using filters. And I think that we are making them feel like it's a problem, because adults, sometimes we just make everything that we're not used to a problem, instead of talking to them about it and figuring out why they're doing it. Is it too much? How can we have the conversation with these children to make sure that it's balanced, that they aren't using a filter because they don't like something about themselves? But my whole goal is to get everybody to, when I ask them, what do you like about you, that you are addressing something about your self-esteem, your confidence, your education, something that is not, I don't want to say tangible, but something that is not physical. Because yes, obviously mentally things can change too, but do you realize how difficult it is when somebody graduates from high school that has been playing sports since they were in 5th grade, right? Now all of a sudden they go to college and maybe they're not playing. The freshman 15 is real. So they go away to school and then they come back home in the summertime, and there goes Samantha saying, "Oh, girl, you put on some weight in school," or you just always I think sometimes I feel like we need to stop addressing them physically, period.
Yeah.
We don't need to say nothing about the way they look physically at all, whether we feel like is good or bad, because they do take it in so much, and it just plays on them subconsciously.
Let me tell. I'm sorry. When I was younger, right? So I was affirmed at a very young age, right? My parents told me, you can do whatever you want to do, Erica. You're smarter than the next. You're more athletic. You're more creative. I grew up in Mississippi, so that was something that was embedded in me. Mississippi is going to be, if not the most racist state in our country, at least it was once upon a time. And so they had to make sure that they ingrained that in me. On top of that, my mom used to tell me this one thing. She said, if you don't get a husband, it won't be because of two things. You can't cook, or because you're overweight. And she did her utmost in making sure that I could cook and that I kept myself up. And till this day, shout out to my mom, because she said she was going to be watching. But to this day, she makes sure that she reminds me, Erica, now you're putting on a little bit of weight there. Or Erica, you may want to slow down because them hips, you got them hips like how we have. But I'm like, I like my hips. I like my curves. Everyone's standard of beauty is going to be different. And I've gained some weight. But my weight, it does not interfere with my health. I have a clean bill of health. I'm a cardiac patient, so I have to keep up with my annual visits. So I make sure that I am good. Husband doesn't complain. I can still fit in my clothes. I feel good, And so I'm at the point now where I know how to take in and internalize certain things, but then just know, okay, it's my mom. And then she just wants the best for me, right?
And I get that too, but I do think that in a respectful way, I think that we do need to empower ourselves. What are we going to do? Just wait till that generation just fades away, or because people are living longer and longer, and so because what I've seen is, even though they're not saying it to me anymore, these are who I'm taking my children to watch and babysit my children.
Yeah.
And, I don't want my mom or my aunties or my grandmother to talk to my children the way I know that they talk to me. Mm. And so, I'm empowered myself. No, you're not going to do to her what you did to me. But since you brought up the weight, like that's another thing. Like we have told people to love, we are so into telling people to love themselves, right? And to love every part about us, even when they really don't. So where we are forgetting about the fact that being overweight is unhealthy, right? Mm-hmm. And so are we really gonna keep telling people it's okay, it's okay, it's okay? Yes, I love you. Yes, I accept you for who you are. I remember, and it was like you actually said to me one day, when I think it was you like, well, if not for you, think about the person that has to carry your casket. Were you the one who said that to me? Yeah. Think about the one who has to carry your casket. And it might seem like it's harsh, but like these are realities. Yeah. Hypertension is at an all-time high. It always has been in the Black community. Mm-hmm. Diabetes is ridiculous. Mm-hmm. And so are we really still going to keep walking around and telling people you don't have to do anything about it? You look great. Yeah, maybe you do look great. Mm-hmm. But are you really healthy?
I think the controversy with that comes into play when the person who was mentioning your weight or speaking on it's not revolved around health. A lot of times it's about like a man, and I said last week, my aunt told me, or family member, whoever, she said, if you lost some weight, you can get any man you want. And so that to me is not about health. It has something to do with health and the better of me. It's about, and so I think that's where the controversy and the insecurities come into play, because you're not concerned about my health, the person that says those things. So
like you just worried about whether or not I'm going to.
get a man.
And I really don't think that has anything to do with it. You might get a better man than you get otherwise.
Yeah.
Like that really should have nothing to do with it. I've always made the joke about, well, not a joke, but like Chris, he loves thick women. He just does. I have never, my husband has loved me from skinny or thick slicks. It does not matter. So yeah, there's going to be somebody that's looking, but you are not going to be loved if you can't even admit that you don't love yourself. So if you are comfortable being a certain size, that's great.
Yeah.
But don't let anybody force you to say, if you're not comfortable with your nose, right? You don't make nobody tell you got to be comfortable, because all they're doing is telling you to lie. And I'm not telling people to lie anymore. I'm just not.
Yeah.
And I've been doing it for years and years and years. I'm telling you, I'm telling people, look in the mirror and tell yourself, I love my nose. No, I accept my nose. My nose doesn't make me. It doesn't change who I am, because that is not, at the end of the day, I am Patricia. Okay. And Patricia, this is just the physical person that I am. But who I am is here and here. Yeah. So yeah, I'm not going around telling it. If you don't like something about yourself, I'd rather you at least be honest.
What I tell, me and my mom have like talks like that all the time. And what I tell my mom is, I say, Mama, if it's something that you don't like about yourself, and if it's something that is bringing you down so much, and you can't even like, I don't even want to go because I just don't like the way that this outfit looks on me. Like, look at my stomach. I'm like, Mama, change it. You have the ability to, so change it. If it's something that you can be changed, and if something that you just truly can't accept, change it. Because you can lose the weight to get rid of the belly if it just bothers you that bad, or if you know it's bad for me, I'm struggling to breathe when I bend down, lose the weight, change it.
I mean, as adults, we can't continue to have these insecurities of our own, but then in the same breath, tell these children that they have to love. And that is what is happening in therapist's office. It's happening in doctor's offices. People are telling these kids that they have to love everything. But at the same time, like you said, you ain't coming out the house unless you got, your makeup on and your lashes did and your nails done. But you're going to tell these children, you have to love. No, let's figure out what's going on here, and then let's do what we can do to help them accept what they can't not change and change the things that they can.
I was having a conversation with one of my friends recently, and going back to what you said earlier, she was like, they should have taught us in school balance. And I'm like, well, what do you mean? And she was like, balance. If they taught us balance, the world would be a much better place. I'm like, girl, elaborate, because I'm lost at this point, right? And she was like, yes, I'm beautiful. But what about the days that I don't feel as beautiful? So instead of trying to tell me, yeah, you're beautiful, you look amazing, tell me how to cope with the emotions of when I don't feel so great. And so I just feel like that was just like, okay, you got a really good point. You got a point, because we don't always feel the best, and we don't, and I know earlier you talked about Alicia Keys. That was impactful for you. I think maybe I was probably a little bit younger. I remember the no makeup, but it didn't impact me at that time. But Jada Pinkett was the one for me. And she was just talking about on one of her talk shows about, her having long hair all the time, and it became the definition of her. It was what defined her, People, your hair is that your real hair? That's got to be a wig. She was like, no, this is mine, And then eventually, as she started to age, or life went on, she started having alopecia. And so she was like missing chunks in her hair. And she said, like, every time she showered and water hit her hair, it was just just falling out by the handful. And so now she had to be like, okay, who am I without this hair? And so the statement that I feel like she made was, one, talking about it, being vulnerable in that vulnerable state, which I feel like brings power. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And two, she shaved her head. And I really like the shaved head look. I think she looks amazing. But regardless of how I think she looks, we can't deny, and she said it, she doesn't always feel great. She said initially she was wearing like turbans on her head because she didn't want to accept the fact and couldn't handle like I don't have hair anymore. You know what I mean? So I just think that the balance is where it, you know,
I think
essentially.
that we've got to do a better job at empowering them outside of the physical aspects of them, so that as life happens, um, that their self-esteem won't. Now, there's always going to be, if you have breast cancer and you lose your breasts, we're women,
Yeah.
But if we start having these conversations, in my opinion, if we start having these conversations more now, like what's going on at over at my selfie, needs no filter, then we empower them, and we have them empower them so that they know who they are, so that they love who they are, and the more you love who you are, the easier it is to love and appreciate and accept what you look like.
That is true. And I love to bring up the fact that, especially in how I was brought up, we're typically taught to say, I love you to someone else. We're typically not taught to say, I love me, or I love you while looking at your reflection in the mirror. Right? What y'all laughing at?
What
My
y'all-
mama
She
acting a
said,
fool.
"That's me, honey. I done told myself I love my belly 3,478 times, and I still don't like it. I'm not saying it no more."
And so, yes, self-love is, it encompasses and carries all the other selfies. But before we can even talk about self-love, there's a prerequisite to that, and that is self-like. You got to learn to like yourself, right? We got to start there. And then eventually, hopefully, we'll be able to get to that ultimate level, that ultimate gift, which is self-love. Because when everyone else is gone, when everyone else has, gone on about their day, and you find yourself alone, whether it's in your thoughts or physically, you're still left with self.
And baby, what Miss Mary Jane used to tell me, and I've told you this before.
It don't matter where you go. Is that what you're talking about?
That's right.
I used to, oh God, those words just trigger me. Listen, because my mom used to listen, my mom, growing up, and sometimes even now in my mind, if I go to this city or go to this place or do this, I'm gonna be a whole different person. Just wait till I go to Washington, D.C. I'm gonna be a whole new Shemaya. They're not gonna know what's coming. My mama will always tell me, girl, it don't matter where you go, Shemaya will always be there. And it's like, girl, leave me alone. But when you really think about it, it's like, no. It's like, this girl keep following me. Shemaya's still here. I went across the country and I am experiencing the same things, feelings, emotions that I went through in Alabama. What is going on here? Maybe it's a curse. I don't know. But just, what was it, Miss Mary Jane?
Yes, Mary Jane. And because I used to jump around from when I was doing hair, I would jump around from shop to shop, get mad, pack all my stuff up, and just belligerent. If belligerent was ever a girl, it was me. I'm totally honest. And one day I was mad with her. Here I go. Miss Mary Jane's like the sweetest person. She won't tell you, but she's the sweetest person. But whatever she said, it hit the wrong button. So I'm packing up my stuff, getting ready to go. She said, "I'm not gonna try to stop you from leaving." She said, "But I'm gonna tell you something. Wherever you go, Trish gonna still be there."
Yeah.
And when I tell you, it hit me in my gut, and I've tried to live by that. Since then, I didn't do a whole lot of changing still back then, but it's something that I still remind myself that I had to work on Trish.
Yeah.
And like you said, and I never answered it as far as myself, but like you said, you got to be stuck in the room with yourself, or like even like my family. Like there have been times when I would yell and holler and scream so much that I would give my own self a headache. My heart starts beating, I'm shaking. And I have done this to myself because, I don't know how to control my emotions, and I let them take me there, right? But do we really let people take us there, or do we allow ourselves to respond the way that we shouldn't respond? And so if I like in thinking of what do I like about Patricia, I like the way I love people would be the number one thing. I like the fact that I love to learn more. I like that I connect with people. I like the fact that I feel like God has given me a spirit of discernment, that He gives me exactly what He wants me to say if I listen and don't move on my own. And so I like that I can be a blessing to people that I don't even know, And if I had to say what I don't like about me, it's still not going to be anything physical. I don't like how petty I can be sometimes. I don't like the attitude that I can quickly get sometimes. And so, I try to really sit back and be honest about what I don't like about myself. But I wanted to do it. But still, like, even when I was thinking, it wasn't something I had to force myself to say, well, not the physical, because it's just so, like, it has nothing to do with who I am. And I think that's what's missing, is we got to help these kids figure out who they are. And if they don't like something, let them address it. And then we figure out how.
I think one of those barriers in doing that I've encountered is being able to be open and honest and them wanting to listen. Okay. And so one of the things that we bring up is who's on your front row. Some people say who's in your circle and things like that, who's on your team, who's in your tribe. But I love to phrase this, who's on your front row. So if this is the play or story of your life, this is your life story, and you are the star, you're on the stage, front and center. Who's on your front row right now? Who's on your front row clapping for you, cheering you on, giving you those positive affirmations? Who is it that you can go to for those warm and fuzzies, give you some good advice? But also what comes with that, if they're really on your front row and really there to support you, they may tell you some things that you may not want to hear. They may tell you some things out of love that they feel will be beneficial for you. And if they do that, some people call it constructive criticism, some people call it productive feedback, whatever you want to coin it. If you hear those things, how do you respond? Like you had mentioned about, the weight and it being a health risk. If someone is mentioning and commenting on your health, and we know that you are predisposed, whether it's, genetically or whatever, to these different health risks, and they bring that to your attention, how do you respond to that? You have to be willing to take in some of that stuff, because we know that that's if they're on your front row now, because some people, they just want to drop salt. It's nothing constructive about what they have to say. They just want to bring you down. But if they're truly on your front row, and they truly do have your best interest in mind, how do you respond when people bring certain things to your attention? And it's not to lower your self-esteem. It's not to minimize your self-confidence. It's not to, make you feel any kind of way about yourself. It's strictly to try to help and empower you, because they want to see you well. Some people don't know how to take that.
Constructive criticism.
Can I be I'm gonna call it the devil's advocate, for lack of a better way to phrase it. Yeah. I do agree that some people don't know how to take it, but I will also add to that and say I feel like some people don't know how to give it.
Oh,
because it's like I would tell people all the time, I'm open to constructive criticism. You know what I mean? But when you come in and you start with a negative, I'm already on the defense.
Oh yeah.
But if you start with a positive, like, you were so pretty, but I am worried about your health and your weight. It's like you started with your pretty, but now let's think about the weight too. But when you just come in with so many of the negatives, I'm already like, get out of my face. I can't take, you know what I mean? So I do agree with you, but I just wanted to add that sometimes people don't know how to provide that.
And another thing I know, like for me, whenever I'm giving constructive criticism, I want to make sure a person doesn't think that I'm just targeting them. So I make sure to point out things that I can work on myself too. So while I'm telling you should be better at communicating, like you could definitely do better at communicating, I'm also saying I could definitely be more approachable. I can definitely be more comforting to where you can feel that you should be better at communicating with me.
She's 18, y'all. I gotta keep throwing it out there. She's 18. So, Shamaya, and you, when you say one of you said something about, who your audience is, who your support team, and who's talking to you and bringing you this constructive criticism. Most of my followers would know that Shemaya and I are like, we're just getting to the place where we can sit down, and have these kind of mommy daughter conversations. We haven't always got along the greatest. And we've said it before, both of us right here on the show. There have been times when you walked in the house and you like, and I, what you got on? What's wrong with your hair? Or what's this or what's that? And you're like sometimes I just don't feel like you like me because like I come over here and all you got is something negative. Yeah. And then what did I say? Do you remember? Mm-mm. Well, I was honest to say, well, you know what? I didn't think about it. I really don't. It was at a time when, it was at a time where I really didn't. I loved her, absolutely. But as far as liking her, I didn't like her. I didn't like me. Like, I didn't like anything about me emotionally and internally at that time, right? And so there again, how do we really keep telling these people, like, how am I capable of loving you the way you need to be loved? I don't even know how to love me. Mm-hmm. I don't know how to talk to me. I don't know how to encourage myself. I don't know how to motivate me. I don't know how to look and say, oh, Trish, you're beautiful. I don't like anything about me. Yeah. But now you expect me to make y'all believe that I can go do that for this person. Right. And so now when I see her, now that we've mended, we've healed, I can actually see, that yes, you are beautiful, mm-hmm. and I do like you. So it's like you get into it with somebody and you expect for that person, what am I trying to say? Because I don't want to make it seem like that. But you don't have a good relationship with somebody. You really don't like somebody, and you expect them to be able to receive compliments. I'm not receiving many compliments from somebody that really doesn't like me. And you see what I'm saying?
You can feel that. Yeah. And I was talking to one of my friends because you know how sometimes you're in situations where you're talking to somebody, you're going through something, and you have to think about, like, did this just happen to me? Like, you could be on the phone with somebody and they get an attitude, or you're at work and somebody just pops off and you're like, wait a minute, is she talking to me? But going back to what you said, people can feel that you don't like them. And one of my friends, this is how she was like, honest moment. I was talking to my dogs and I was cursing, and she was like, oh my gosh, you're cursing. I'm like, girl, they don't know what a curse word is. They're dogs, right? Mm-hmm. And she was like, well, I guess that makes sense. But what we realize is what they do understand is tone. And energy. So even if they don't understand the actual word that I'm saying, they understand the tone that's associated with it. You know what I mean? That's associated with it. So going back to what you said, it's like, I know when you don't like me. I can feel it. That good intuition. Oh, I know she don't like me. You know what I'm saying? So yes, you will not be
but
able
sometimes that's internal though. Sometimes that's the opposite. Sometimes it's reverse. Yeah, sometimes you really don't like them. Yeah. Right. And so that's what we're going to close with. We're going to talk about that. We got about 7 minutes. We started a little bit late. Sometimes you got to recognize when you don't like somebody, and it might be for no absolute reason at all. Like, seriously. No, it's true. Like, you get on, like, you follow somebody on social media, right? And every time they say something, you're like, you're like, there you go. But you always got something to say.
You know what's crazy? I don't unfollow them. And I get so triggered. I'm like, and it's the craziest thing is I do not unfollow them. It's like, girl, just push. Even if I push it with the snooze button, just push the snooze button. I still won't do it. It's like a human part of me is like, well, just see what they're gonna say tomorrow. And I'm clicking through the story like, this girl gets on my nerves. Like,
they've done nothing to you. You're just different. You just ain't on the same page. Like, you think differently, and you don't have, like, you don't even know this person. You don't even know this person, so you don't have to connect with them. So why you would continue? Because I've unfollowed a lot of people because I felt that way. So why am I gonna make myself feel that way when I don't have to? I can just not follow. I'm not unfriending them. I'm just not going to follow them because for some reason, whatever it is, and who knows, God just might not want you to see something that they got right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is true right there.
All of them people, clean your feed. Clean your feed. Feed your feed.
Snooze them. Because you might want to go look at what they say in tomorrow. I don't know. But at least snooze them. So I don't know.
No, you might be able to come back in a month when you worked on yourself and you might realize it's actually you, not them. Sometimes they just pushing buttons. sometimes they are actually saying something and it's triggering you, it's pushing your buttons. They saying something that's true, something you might have been through, and then she know everything. Here she go again. And it might not be them, it might be you. They might be saying something that you don't want to hear, but maybe you need to hear it. But if it's bothering you that much, follow them, honey.
I say all the time, I am not letting stuff disrupt or disturb my peace. So if I keep getting that triggered feeling, let's change something.
Pay attention to what you feel like on the inside, your pay attention to what you feel like when somebody says things about your internally or externally, and be more comfortable telling somebody when you don't like it. If you don't like when somebody comments on your hips or your breast or your hair, you got to get comfortable saying, you tell me that every time and I really appreciate it. I don't know why, but it makes me uncomfortable. Could you please not do that?
I've had to say that to my mom before, or like just different people. Like when someone will come up to me and be like, you look so skinny, like, oh my God, you lost so much weight. And for me, it's like, I know for you, I guess you're complimenting me, but to me, weight is a touchy subject. So when you say something like that, I'm like, okay, well, I haven't been noticing I'm losing weight. Have I like not been eating, or like what's going on? Let me see. Or like, is that a bad thing? Like, do I look like I'm losing weight too quickly? Or like, am I actually losing weight? Are they just saying that? It's like,
and it could go both ways, whether a person is overweight or underweight. Someone could be underweight trying to gain weight. And it's like, you'll tell them, girl, you gaining weight. And they're like, what? Like, I want to, but it doesn't look good. And they've been wanting to gain weight for so long, and vice versa. So,
because I had to stop, y'all know I'm a butt girl. I don't have one. Like I tell that Facebook thing I used to say, if you see me looking at your butt, girl, it ain't because I want you. I'm just trying to pick mine out. Okay. So, but I had to stop, commenting on, or even like my girls, like you or Kristen or Treasure. And I think it was Eunice who brought it to my attention, because I had commented, I think, on Kristen's behind. And she was like, girl, why you say that? And I was like, what? I love her butt. I wish I had her butt. And she was like, you know what? That doesn't mean that she likes for you to comment on it. Sometimes they can feel uncomfortable. And so I went and I asked Kristen, I hope she don't mind me sharing this. And so I said, Kristen, well, how does it make you feel when I mention or I comment about, how nice I think your butt is, or how big your butt is? She said, I don't like it. And I'm like, are you serious? I mean, I'm making her feel bad, right? Because are you serious? Why would you not like that? And rather than saying, okay, well, tell me like what makes you uncomfortable about that? And she says, well, because sometimes like it makes her back hurt, or sometimes, it can draw the wrong attention. And so I had to be more mindful of just commenting, especially on young girls, especially on younger girls.
Yeah. I was going to say that, like, when you're telling somebody, like, oh, I love, like, your body is so perfect. Like, what? You don't like your body? You don't like your butt? Girl, I wish I had that. But to you, that may be complimenting them and boosting them up. But to them, that may be like, oh my God, like maybe I should just stop, like, because like I hate my butt, but like, yeah, this person, they don't have a butt, or like, yeah, this, I can't say like, oh, I'm too skinny or whatever, because this person is big, and like you don't want to make someone feel bad about themselves, but you still have your own insecurities.
So somebody said at the beginning of the day and the end at the end of the day, it does not matter what you think about how somebody views themselves. What matters is what they accept and what they like about themselves. So we shouldn't probably say things like, oh girl, you crazy, I wish I had, because now you making me feel like, dang, I should just put up with this. I should just accept this. Or I can't say, I should just be quiet. I can't be honest with you. I can't tell you, even though you my mom, or even though you my sister, I can't come to you and tell you what I like, share with you my insecurities, because you're going to downplay it and tell me that I shouldn't be insecure about it. But I've already told you that I am.
Yeah.
So now I just want you to help me figure out how to not be insecure about this, or to at least accept, like I said, accept what we can't change. Change the things we can and accept the things we can't. Isn't that what we're supposed to do? Anyway, I have enjoyed y'all so. We're gonna have to come back for a part 3, 4, 5. I could talk about this.
Yeah, because I
Or
want to touch
forever.
on how, I'm all about girl power, women power, because we are. I'm just kidding, but no, men. I feel like men are not recognized when it comes to their insecurities. I want to talk about that one.
Because they don't. You said right now.
One day.
Oh, one day.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that. I gotta go back to Piscola. Because hope I don't get in trouble for this. But like Chris, I never knew like he had these insecurities when when he gains weight or something. And I'm like, I want to take a picture. And y'all think it'd be me sometimes, right? We'll take a picture. Okay, take it. Wait, let me see.
Yeah.
I don't like that one. I don't like that one. Men do that. Men absolutely do that too. Because women aren't the only ones who age.
Mm-mm.
Men age too.
And speaking of aging, you know what? There's like barbers, and I know we're not going to talk about this because we only got like 30 seconds. But anyway, barbers, they have come up with a way to like do beard transplants and hair transplants. And so, and people are ridiculing these men on Facebook.
So
like,
we can wear weave all
all
day.
day.
Yeah.
But a
And
man
the moment they do it, they're not keeping it real.
Right, and it's the craziest thing to me.
Yeah.
I said this earlier, and I hope I don't offend nobody. But if we are keeping it real, and this probably isn't an exact number, but I'm going to say 90% of a female these days is fake. We got fake hair, fake nails, fake lashes. We're wearing makeup. A lot of what we are physically is not real, right? So we at least got to keep this. This is what's real. This is just your outward appearance. It doesn't matter if you get a BBL or if you get your stomach done. You still got to work on changing on the inside.
Yes.
So I don't care. I don't consider you fake because you wear hair. I don't consider you fake because you wear lashes. I don't consider you fake. What you say out of here, this little circle thing, what you say out of there, and how you behave and how you approach people, how you treat others, how you treat people.
Yeah.
That's
what
is what makes you fake or not fake.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I 100% agree.
It's not about what you look like. It's about who you are.
It's about who you are, and it has nothing to do. So y'all can go get all of this. That's your personal choice. I just want us to stop making people feel so bad. Like in one breath, we walk around here with 24 inches, but we have the audacity to call somebody fake because they decide to get something on their body altered. When we won't even leave the house without a wig on.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Won't even leave the house without a wig on. You ain't going out of town unless you get your lashes done. But we want to call the people who decide to do what? Is it that it's permanent? Is it that it's permanent that makes a difference? I asked this question in the Facebook group today, and I promise I'm gonna go. I asked this question in the Facebook group today, and it was a poll. And the first question, I should probably just pull it up. Hold on, I'll go to it so I can see. Because I believe the first poll question was, let me see. Let me get to it, y'all. Somebody say something while I pull it up.
Go to.
All right. So the first option on the poll was, I've never had any type of enhancements, including hair extensions, lash extensions, nail extensions, gotten a relaxer, wore nail color, hair color, worn a girdle or AKA a body shaper, and I don't wear makeup. The response to that was zero.
It has to be.
0%.
That is not a shot.
Okay.
That's not a shot.
The next choice was, I've worn at least one item in option 1, but I don't consider them to be any type of physical or cosmetic enhancement. 81%. 81% said, I do it, but I don't think it's an enhancement. So I don't know if y'all didn't read all the way to the end. I don't know if y'all didn't read to the end or what. But 81% of you said, yeah, I've gotten one of them, but I don't consider it an enhancement. And it is. If I decide to draw my lashes on or get permanent, micro blading. They're both enhancements. It's just I don't got to do as much work if I just go ahead and let them put it in like permanently. But what's the difference? It's okay for me to do that, but don't touch your butt. Don't touch your stomach. You went out here and you had all of these babies. The God forbid you go out and you say you want to get a tummy tuck, and then that's an enhancement. But we put on these girdles and we put on these body shapers or waist trainers, and that's not new because they're seasoned. Grandmama and them, they didn't play about that. You was gonna put you on a slip, and your girdle, and your holes, and you needed to look. You needed to have on a bra, and they need to be sitting up pretty, and you needed to look like nice in your clothes. So, what's the difference in me saying, you know what, this waist trainer is very uncomfortable, and I just choose to go ahead and get a tummy tuck? It's no different. It's 81% of y'all feel like it is, though.
Yeah, that's. I don't know. Maybe they didn't understand
the question.
Read
to the end.
Yeah, and I don't think that we're here saying that there's anything wrong with the enhancement. Okay, I like to wear lashes whenever it's time to get made up. Okay, I like my nails done. I like to put on makeup and things of that nature. There's nothing wrong with that. And so we're not saying that. We're not saying there's anything wrong with wearing hair extensions. Because we all do. We do. Because it's fun and we're girls. And we like it. Do that. Right? The problem comes in again with the type of impact and impression it has on your life. Where without these things, my self-esteem and self-confidence is on the floor. I can't function. Oh, no. We finna have company. Oh, let me go run and yes, let me go, which maybe hair isn't good. Okay, maybe it is looking like, chicken hair sticking up on top of your head. Okay, there's that point. But when it absolutely starts to play into those 5 selfies that we already mentioned, that's where it becomes a problem. And even for men, yes, they do the hair transplants, and I don't know what this chalk is that men.
Oh, I like it though. This don't like it. I like it.
Yeah. It's like
is it supposed to stay on there?
It's supposed to stay on.
I think just the first haircut though. It's just the fresh haircut.
What is it? Is it like when you slick your edges back for women?
That's their edge control.
It's like concealing your eyebrows, but for men.
Is it really? Because it's not the same color.
I think it's just like a highlight, like
like we put yes when you like if when we put on brows, we see we have like a light, some concealer here and concealer there,
right?
And so it just kind of makes your brows. That was on point. So they spray, and then they get their little chalk line. Even the kids get the spray.
Well, see, I didn't know that. It makes sense now, but I guess the barber just wants us to know he can draw a straight line. Like, I really did not know why. I don't get it, but it makes sense.
Point is to each his own. You know what I mean? To each his own. If that's what makes you feel comfortable, and if that's what helps to boost your self-esteem, it's just like that. Maybe this is just me. You know how whenever you get your car detailed and your windows are nice,
you'd be like, oh, it dries.
So much better.
Or when your sons get a haircut, oh, he acts so different child.
The strut, the chest. It's just something about when you're done up that it does make you feel better. Sometimes when you feel good, you look good. Sometimes it does make you feel better about yourself. So again, nothing wrong with that, but
we love it.
You gotta be careful.
When you get your nails done, you even grab your phone different.
You
driving different.
When girls get their hair done, this is the famous. I just got my hair done.
So true. Like, remember how they drugged Gabby Douglas after the during the Olympics when she was out there, or just and even Simone Biles when she got married, how social media drug her. And I always say that whatever negative thing that draws your attention the most is your insecurity. Okay, if you see me and you can tell that my wig is pushed back right away, or maybe I didn't lay my lace down because I was in a hurry or whatever, if that's the first thing you see,
Yeah.
that is your
own
insecurity. Yeah. It's the person that left out with it, they're fine, they're comfortable with it, and they're not bothering you at all, you know.
Right.
And so pay attention, you know, to those people.
That's a good point.
Yeah. Pay attention to those people, even in your circle,
Yeah.
you know, and
Because if they do it to them, they'll do it to you. Yep, I've talked to people and they'll be like, "Oh my God, girl, why is her? She's so big." I'm like, "Girl, I'm big too. So this is how you feel about
Right.
me. This is how you feel about me, you know?"
Like,
or they'll talk about somebody else, right? They'll talk about somebody, or it could even be somebody in their family, and they will like just dog these people physically or mentally or whatever. And you really expect me to believe that either when I'm not here or when you upset with me, that you're not doing the same thing. You better listen to those cues, listen to that gut feeling. Again, I could have stayed here forever and a day and talk about this, but we got to go home and cook, honey. So we need to bounce out of here. We're gonna let thank you everybody for joining Journey with Trish, the podcast tonight. Thank you to Miss Erica Lanes of My Selfie Has No Filter. My Selfie Needs No Filter.
Don't forget to drop your links and stuff in the comments.
Okay, she will drop those links in the comments so you can follow her on social media, join the Facebook group. Facebook group is for male and female.
Yes.
And then, you know, subscribe to her websites as well. You're looking for a speaker. She does speaker
speaking engagements, workshops, seminars. You fill out a booking form. You pretty much have what it is that you're looking for. We have a newsletter, monthly newsletter. So that is definitely a great way to stay informed, get updates, get some good fun life hacks, to get some tips and things of that nature. So subscribe to the newsletter as well. I'll drop that in the comments.
The one thing I did want you to tell me, the big event that you have every year.
Yes. So we have
camp. Tell me about the camp.
Yeah. So we have Myself and Needs to No Filter Little Ladies of Leadership Conference. So we just wrapped up our second one at the University of West Florida in Pensacola, Florida. Phenomenal event. When I say phenomenal guest speakers, dynamic performances, vendors. Oh my gosh, games. We had a face painter this year, 360 selfie booth, free food, door prizes, giveaways. I mean, we did it big. We had a live band there. The Escambia High School jazz band. It wasn't like Frankie Beverly or Maze or anybody like that, but they came and they did their thing. And I mean, it was an opportunity for these girls to get in a room with other girls of their age and not only network, but to feel empowered, to hear from some of the more seasoned leaders who are actually doing the deal every day, and just to connect with them, get up close and personal. And so we did that last year. We did it this year. Also did our first summer camp this year. We served about 200 girls in the Escambia County. We fed them. We entertained them. They did different camp sessions. Kennedy was one of our campers, and then she got promoted to a camp counselor. Okay, so she was, big timing at that moment. We did some field trips. We got a party bus because we got to do it on top tier. So on our field trips, we took a party bus, and we had to be our lights and music and all that stuff going. And then we had a career day, so the girls came dressed like what they wanted to be when they grew up. And then I had a panel of professional women who were from different backgrounds who came and spoke to the girls. And then the girls had to stand in front of them. We had girls on day one who did not have that level of self-confidence on day one. By day 5 on career day, those girls had taken that podium. They were telling the who, what, when, where, why I want to do this and what I'm planning on doing with my life and how much money it is and I'm planning on making. And Kennedy was like, listen, I'm going to be a famous makeup artist. Y'all need to follow me on Instagram. Holla if you want your face to be. So, yeah, those are the two biggest events that we do.
Tell them about you.
I do makeup, and I have an Instagram page. It's Makeup by K. What's Makeup by and then _ KAE.
Okay. And where do you do makeup?
I travel, so I'll bring my little bag with all my makeup and come set up at your house, and I'll do your beat for.
We're in Mobile, so you'll travel to what's your catchment area? Where will you travel?
So far, I've been doing only in Pensacola, but I'm willing to, if you need me to travel to Mobile, I don't know if I would go any further than that because that's already like, an hour-ish away. But I've told some people here in Mobile and then like Brumley and Bay Minette and stuff like that. So and I travel to Bay Minette and Mobile a lot, especially on weekends. So if you need me, book me and I will
Look,
travel
my
to you.
girl,
Yes.
listen. I want everybody to have a phenomenal Thanksgiving. I'm not gonna worry about how much I don't like my stomach on Thursday. I'm gonna eat.
Mhm.
Okay. So please don't comment on it and don't ask me. Don't try to watch my diet. I'll do that myself. Yeah. Don't worry about how many. Yeah, let me do me.
I have been on a keto diet and have lost a few pounds, but come Thursday, that is going out the window. Don't mention it
You
to
look
me.
good.
Ain't you
look
supposed to be?
good.
Let's stop you right there.
That's right. Mind your business. Don't mind my plate. Listen, we love y'all so much, and we want you to do whatever you got to do to love yourself. Right?
Yes.
Shamaya, you want to go ahead and pray us out?
I sure will. Let's bow our heads. God, we thank you first and foremost for opening our eyes this morning to see a new day. We thank you for giving us another opportunity at this life. God, we thank you for bringing us here safely and ask that you give us traveling grace and mercy on our way home. I thank you for placing me in a room full of Black excellence amongst these amazing women. God, we thank you for what you continue to do and for the things that you have yet to do for us. We ask that you continue to allow us to be an enlightenment and empowerment to young women across the world and hopefully one day across the entire nation. God, we ask that you again allow us to make it home safely, and we hope that this food come this Thanksgiving is going to be amazing because we are sure going to enjoy it. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
In Jesus' name, thank you. We love y'all. God bless y'all. Good night.
Bye.